let's just make up your character. I said, really? He said, yeah. And then, so we just got to make it up, and he'd be like, okay, kid, go. And I'd be like, blah, 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 and say whatever. And then by the end, he had written me a whole scene. So that was kind of cool.
Is it as hard to improvise as one thinks?
Improvising, that's what I should have been doing the whole time. I love it. It's the most fun. It's so freeing. And once I started, with the comedians, everyone always thinks I'm so serious, because I guess I did very serious films. But like, the Gary Shandlings, he, when he had me on his show, he's like, improvise. And I did. And, and Curb, all you Curb Your Enthusiasm, you improvise. When I work with Dennis Miller, we just go off the page all, to me, it's the most fun. And also, I write as well, so I understand that I've been working with writers. As long as you understand the scene and don't go off, sometimes people just, don't serve the scene. You can still have fun, but within perimeters. I really like that. It's the most fun. It's my favorite thing, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it would be fun. Well, out of all these amazing...
as long as you're doing it with good people.
Right.
It's like tennis, or it's like anything. It's like, as long as you're improvising with great people, you're golden. And if you're around people who don't like to improvise or don't do it, doesn't work.
Which I would imagine Curb is like the master class, or one of the master classes.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just show up and have fun, and everyone's so good around you.
And then it just turns out brilliant.
Yeah, well, it's brilliant.
Well, out of all of these amazing movies you've been in, I have to say one of the highlights of your career for me was your 3-episode arc in the amazing Melrose Place. You played a high-end call girl. You had your scenes with Laura Leighton. Do you remember being on Melrose Place? Because it really is one of the best TV shows of all time, Gina.
I don't remember being on Melrose. I mean, I remember doing it. I don't remember at all what I did. The only thing I remember from Melrose Place was when I was doing, I guess I must have been doing Showgirls, because I was going to a lot of strip clubs beforehand. I was going to strip clubs anyway. And I was in, I don't know where I was somewhere. But I'd already done like Red Heat, and I'd done Cocktail, and I'd done like, maybe the Sinatra miniseries. Like, I was starting to do some cool things. And I was in a strip club with some friends, and all of a sudden one of the strippers, she points at me and she's like, and I think, oh, here it comes. It must have been after Showgirls. No, it was not, it was before. But she points at me, she's like, Melrose Place. And everyone turned and looked at me, and I was like, that's my memory of Melrose Place. I don't remember doing the show though. Is that terrible?
It's not terrible. You worked at Shooters. You had lots of scenes with Laura Leighton. You were a high-end call girl, and there was a lot going on there for you.
Great.
How often?
Great experience.
How often does someone want to talk to you about Melrose Place in an interview?
You're the first.
Listen, it was a classic. You got it. Just Google yourself and go and watch this 3-episode arc. It was classic.
Do I have to? Must I?
I think you're going to be very happy.
I'll trust you on this. I'll trust you.
Okay.
If you liked it, that's all I care about.
Loved it. Well, speaking of Showgirls, how did Showgirls come about for you?
I went in to audition for it, and I auditioned for it for about 3 months or 4 months. It was a very long process. And yeah, I mean, it was interesting because I remember thinking, like, once we got to the dancing, I thought, I can dance. I was a dancer, so I'm like, I've got this, but we never did the dance audition until the very, very, very end. So that was kind of frustrating. I'm like, as soon as they see me dance, I'm going to kill this. But then it took a long, he cared much more about the acting, I think. And then by the time we actually did the auditioning, I'd been working with, Margarita and dancing for about 6 weeks already. Although the day of my actual audition, when I was finally gonna be put on film, and I'd made through, he knew he liked me for Crystal. And every time I went in there, you have to understand, I was like lying about my age. I was lying about everything because I didn't think I was old enough to be her. I was like somewhere in between. I'm like, wait, am I gonna be the know me part? I was like, maybe I'm a little too old, but I'm too young for this. So I lied and said I was 30 something, whatever, some old number. but I had to put so much makeup on and do so much facade stuff. So it was a big ordeal every time I went in, because I thought, oh, if he knows what I really look like and at my age, I'm not going to get this part, So I lied through that whole show. But then the day that I did my final audition on tape, I didn't, of course I was late. I was racing, and I didn't warm up enough. And as soon as I did my first kick, which, I've got a pretty high kick, like up to here, I heard this. And I was like, what, did you just hear that? And my hamstring had torn. It like ripped because I didn't warm up. And like the little voice inside of me is like, don't keep dancing, you'll screw up your leg. But I also couldn't say, oh, I just hurt myself, because then I would lose the gig. And so I remember just not even thinking, but just like pulling a total, just, I was in a character, just pulling a diva and just saying, you know what, I don't feel like dancing right now. Everyone was like, what? I said, you've seen me dance. I said, ugh, I just don't want to dance. I'm just not feeling it. And I left because I thought I can't dance on my leg and I didn't want to tell them. So that was a big risk. Luckily it worked.
Wow.
And I walked out, cried. I was like, oh my God, I was so upset. And actually I saw Elizabeth there and she was so sweet. I'm like, oh my God, I just hurt my leg. And I went and I fixed it. I had 3 weeks and I was going off to do another movie. So I said, oh, I can't dance because I'm going away. It's okay when you get back. So I remember thinking, okay, I've got 3 weeks to heal, maybe 3 or 6 weeks, one of those. And so I just worked it. And then I went, the rest is history.
Well, the rest is history. Could you hear the gasps when you said, like, I don't feel like dancing and this audition's over? Bye, guys.
There was a silence. And I couldn't believe I was saying it, but I was just, I was improvising. I didn't know what to do. I just felt that I couldn't say, oh my God, I hurt myself, because I thought that would be over. I'd rather just diva it out and just be like, I just don't feel this right now. And I just left. And also I knew Marguerite had already seen me dance. Like I'd been dancing. This is just the final video for whoever needed to see it. But I couldn't do it. So I just kind of, I don't know.
Wow.
Later, I don't feel like it. I just left.
It's brilliant. I mean, it fits the part.
It fit the part. I didn't know what else to do. It's the first thing that came into my head. So thank God it worked.
Was there like a buzz around this movie, Showgirls, like with Elizabeth Berkley, or was it just like, here's another movie, or was there this buzz like, oh, this could be this is going to be a big thing?
Oh, I think when it first came out, I think
like when they were casting.
Well, Joe Esterhaus and Paul, they were coming off of Basic Instinct, and so it was a big deal. I think there was a big buzz around this.